Thanks for joining Eureka Springs channel. I have the distinct pleasure to join you guys today to talk about Good Shepherd Humane Society here in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. And I'm here with my special guest, Mr. Jay Fusaro.
Yes.
Only Italian, you said?
That's right.
Not exactly.
Not exactly. Yeah.
So you are the, tell us a little bit about your position here at Good Shepherd Humane Society.
Sure. So thank you for having me, Melody.
Sure,
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
I joined the board in May of 16,
Okay.
and because of some health reasons with some other board members, I became president in September of 16.
Okay.
And really enjoyed it. We got a dog here a couple years prior to that, and so that helped introduce me to Good Shepherd.
Yeah, that's a great introduction too,
it was,
right?
it was.
Adoption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Attended a few board meetings and got involved in the hopes of making a difference.
Yeah.
And it's been really good. We've made a lot of really nice improvements. It was a good organization before,
Yeah.
and we believe it's even better now.
Yeah.
And we just got our second dog in January here at the shelter.
Yeah.
And we're training him to be a therapy dog.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's
That's
terrific.
awesome.
So he's gone through 3 or 4 levels of training,
Yeah.
and we're very happy about that.
That's great. That's great. Well, you guys have, your facility has changed and evolved over the years, and it's continuing to evolve. And, one of the things that I'm most interested in getting a message out there today for you guys is that, you are a no-kill shelter.
Yeah.
And in the financial part of being able to do that, could you speak a little bit about that?
Sure.
What that takes?
Sure. So we're the only no-kill shelter in Carroll County, and it takes quite a bit of resources to do that. So any animal that comes here is going to stay with us until they're adopted. Every animal that comes in gets a wellness check by our vet, who's here 3 days a week, gets spay or neutered, gets all their shots, gets flea and tick treatment, and they will get that throughout their stay with us.
Yeah.
So the average stay of an animal at Good Shepherd is about 10 weeks, cat or dog. Some are here shorter, some are here longer, but on average it's about 10 weeks. So we're very proud of that.
That's not very long.
No,
That's
it's
good.
not. And that's
great.
what a lot of people say, that they're sad to come to the shelter because they want to take all the animals home. And I certainly understand that, and I felt that way when I first started coming to the shelter. But when you see how much the staff cares for them, how well taken care of they are, and that they're only here about 10 weeks, that kind of eases that burden of you want to take everybody home with you.
Right, right.
And the average cost per animal per stay with us for the treatment that I described is about $400.
Okay.
And it costs about $280,000 a year to run the shelter. That's staff, vet care, food, medication, utilities, and the whole 9 yards. So it costs quite a bit of money.
Yes.
We don't receive any state, local, or federal funding, so we're all self-funded.
Okay.
And about half our money comes from our 2 thrift stores, so please shop at our 2 thrift stores.
Exactly.
One in Eureka, one in Berryville.
Okay.
And the rest is through donations.
Okay.
So it does take quite a bit to keep the shelter rolling.
That's a real financial commitment from you guys as a board and for everybody here that's a part of it. And I know that the community has been heavily involved with the success of this shelter.
Absolutely.
And you've got your thrift stores. I know you've got that going on. And you have 2 stores, right?
Yes.
2 stores locations.
So we have 2 thrift stores, and a lot of people may not realize that only one paid staff member manages both stores, our store manager, Janet Shoup.
Okay.
And it takes about 80 volunteers to run both stores full time.
Right.
So a great way for people to help support Good Shepherd, not only financial contribution, and they can shop at the stores, but to volunteer.
Okay.
So if people could volunteer even 4 hours a week, do 1 shift at the stores, that would be terrific. And that could be sorting goods that come in, could be pricing goods, could be working the sales floor, the cash register, whatever. Would be a big help.
Yeah.
And people can help. We have right now one main fundraiser, our gala, which is in November. We have it at the Crescent now. And we're always looking for volunteers to help us with the gala. It takes a lot to set that up as well.
Sure. Well, the environment here that you are providing for all these animals, it's phenomenal. And I'm sure you're not finished with that effort. You're always improving.
Yep.
But could you speak a little bit about the environment that is here for the animals?
Sure. We believe you can take a couple different paths running a shelter. One path could be no animal gets turned away. We're going to take in every animal regardless of what your staffing or capacity is here at the shelter.
Uh-huh.
That's one way to do it. Some people believe that's a compassionate approach, but what that could lead to is an environment that's not very appealing to the animals. So the course that we decided to take over the last couple of years, and one that we can absolutely hold the shelter manager responsible for, is to provide a safe, clean, sanitary environment for the animals that are within our care.
Yeah.
So every animal that's here, we know is going to be treated properly, get proper treatment, and it's going to have the proper amount of space for them, whether it's in a kennel or whatever. And it's going to be the right number of animals that the staff can properly take care of. So when you think of the time and effort, right now we have about 80 animals roughly, roughly. A little, might be about 75. But when you think of the time and effort that it takes to properly care for, feed, clean, walk the dogs, clean all the litter boxes, all the cages get sprayed out, the indoor cages get sprayed out when the dogs are moved outside, then the outdoor cages get sprayed out when the dogs are moved back inside. It takes quite a bit of manpower. So we leave it up to the shelter staff to, with oversight from the board, to decide what's the right number of animals to have that they can properly take care of.
Yeah.
And providing that safe, clean, sanitary environment is something that we can hold the staff directly accountable for.
Sure.
And we believe we've come a long way in what the environment of Good Shepherd is now.
Sure, sure.
And we've made a lot of improvements to our front kennels, which through the time and effort of some really good volunteers, we were able to provide covered lean-tos.
I saw that. It looks amazing.
It really looks terrific.
Really great.
And
really great.
a lot of, not only was money donated, but materials and time to put them up.
Yeah.
And it's really terrific because the animals can be out in rain and sun, they get shade.
Sure.
They put in ceiling fans.
Yeah.
So it's really a pretty terrific environment for the animals. So we're very proud of
And
that.
I also saw the cat building out there too. That's really neat. That's really neat. I like
It's
that.
really, I learned maybe a little bit more than I wanted to about how to run a shelter. I thought you're just coming in here being a, volunteer and helping out on the board, but you really have to learn quite a bit.
Yeah.
And you learn about the process of taking care of the animals. So we have 2 free roaming cat houses, one for adults, one for juveniles. Then we have an intake room for animals where every animal that comes in is in quarantine for a week before they're exposed to the general population.
Smart, real smart.
It is, because it keeps disease issues down.
Yeah.
The complication to that is when we get an influx of animals and our quarantine is full, then we can't take in any more animals.
Gotcha.
So people just need to understand
what the reasons are
the
for
logistics
beyond
of it.
that. I gotcha.
Then there's a separate area for cats that don't get along with other cats. They need to be kept in individual an individual area, and kittens and things like that, right?
Sure.
So there's some segregation that needs to go on, and all that leads to space constraints.
Sure.
Just like with the dogs, it depends what size animals we get in that determine how many animals we have.
That makes sense.
We'll have fewer animals if they're all 80 pounds.
Yeah.
More animals if they're all 10 pounds.
Right.
So all kinds of good stuff that we learn.
Well, I can see that there's a science to this for sure, on how to do this. So you guys have done a really great job, and I'm impressed by the organization of the logistics of all this. I can see it's
really pretty it's pretty enlightening.
Yeah.
People any board member that wants to come on the board, we require that they go through orientation with our shelter manager, Sandra, who's really terrific. She's been here several years and has worked her way up from cat tech to assistant manager to manager.
Right. I'm looking forward to. I'm going to be talking with her also during the process of this, and so she'll be taking this around. Yeah, but I want to talk a little bit about you're talking about logistics, and you've got compartmentalized and everything going on here for your flow, your workflow of how to deal with a shelter. But I know that you have got improvement plans that you'd like to put in place.
Yes.
And so let's speak a little bit about that, because I know you guys have just started a capital campaign, and let's talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Sure. There's 3 big things that we want to get done in the next 18 to 24 months. The first is new HVAC for the shelter. The HVAC in the shelter is outdated and inadequate. And so we're really fortunate to be working with a good partner. Island Airco is going to work with us on revamping that and getting that new shelter HVAC done. That's going to be about $20,000. We have about a little less than half that raised. And we believe Island Airco is going to chip in some. So we're probably I'm guessing about $5,000 short on that. So we're real close on that. We're confident that we're going to get that done soon.
So it's the heat of the summer. This is pretty immediate need then for you guys.
Yes, it is a big need.
Big need right now. So that's a good thing for you guys to donate directly to for that.
Absolutely. And this way we can drag that one across the goal line and be done with that.
Yes.
Then once we get the HVAC done, once you do the walk around with Sandra, what you'll see is the indoor kennels are really outdated. It's chain link fencing. Not only does it not look good, but it's not real sanitary for the animals.
It's not practical
and it's not practical because they can touch noses and potentially transmit disease, or they can cut their paw on a piece of chain link fence. So we're working with a company now. We're finalizing cost estimates on that to revamp the indoor kennels. And we went down to see the shelter in Fayetteville who has this product. It looks terrific. And we're really anxious about that. And that's going to cost probably between $50,000 and $75,000 once we're all done. And that is stainless steel, plexiglass, much more sanitary, a lot safer, a lot cleaner, a lot better looking. So that'll be a huge improvement to the inside of the shelter. And then the third and final improvement that we need to make is our kennels that are out back. So in back of the shelter, it's kind of rough, rocky terrain.
It's the Ozarks.
It is the Ozarks, and it looks that way back there.
Right.
And with chain link fencing. And so we want the back of the shelter where our kennels are to look as nice as the front of the shelter does now. And we're going to work with an architect. An architect design what the front of the shelter looks like now. So we're going to work with that same architect. Once we get the HVAC done and the indoor kennels done, we're going to work with that architect to improve the back of the shelter.
That's great.
And that'll be our third and final capital improvement.
Well, those are 3 very practical capital improvements that you need to make.
It'll completely change the way the shelter looks and what condition is provided for the animals.
Well, and this is and here's a product we're sitting in right here. This facility that you have completed here now. We are actually in the boardroom of Good Shepherd Humane Society. I feel like I'm brushing with greatness, brushing with greatness here, because you guys have done so much as a group together. A fantastic group of people that you have on your board.
It takes a lot of teamwork from our board members and our staff and our volunteers to get it done, because it's an enormous amount of work. So you mentioned where we are now, Melody. And so we received a grant. Our prior president, Troy Johnson, went to the Northwest Arkansas Economic Development District, and we received a grant to finish out this building. This was a building that was just studs, and through as a result of the grant, as well as volunteer work of one board member in particular, we were able to complete this. And we were able to complete it. It is very nice, and we're able to complete it about 25% under budget. And we asked if we could repurpose those funds, hold them aside, and repurpose the savings for other shelter improvements.
Smart.
And so that's some of
Yeah.
the money that we're going to use for the HVAC.
Great.
That's what we use
Great.
for seed money
Gotcha.
for the HVAC. And what people can do for the indoor kennels is we're going to have people be able to sponsor a kennel. So we're going to have plaques made if somebody wants to sponsor a
Yeah.
kennel. We're going to have plaques made for that person
Sure.
or that family
Yeah.
on that kennel.
Okay.
And then we're going to provide most likely quarterly updates to that donor about what's going on in that kennel, who was in it, when
That's
they got
so
adopted.
cool.
Yeah, so
That's so
they can
cool.
form a connection
Yeah.
with the dog that was in that kennel. So
That's
it's
great.
it's a really good way to raise money and for people to be connected to
Oh,
the
totally.
shelter.
Yeah. Totally.
So
That would
we're
be
very
actually
proud
be
of that.
very fun for a family to
And
have
that's what we're
that as
thinking.
a project as a family to,
Right,
to
families,
have a
groups
kennel.
of friends can get
Yeah.
together and do it. You know, you
How
can
fun.
have your name and your dog's name or whatever on there. And
That is so cool.
make
I
it
like
a lot
that.
of fun. So we want to do that. So yeah, a lot
And
of
this,
good things
I was
happen.
looking right here when it came through the door here. You've got a little, you call it a meet and greet. Is that what you
Right,
call it?
so
It's
the first part of this building is where people can come that want to adopt a dog or a cat
okay.
and meet it in a safe environment away from other
Sure,
animals.
yeah.
So dogs aren't barking and
Yeah.
all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And you can make sure that you have that connection with your animal.
Mhm.
Or if you have another animal, a cat or a dog, and you're thinking about bringing another animal into the
Introduction.
house, you can do the introduction there.
Cool.
And it's important, part of the reason that we wanted this to be the boardroom was before Good Shepherd was meeting at local restaurants, which was
Yeah.
very nice of the restaurants to
Sure,
let us
yeah.
use their space. But really the board needs to meet at the shelter,
Yeah.
right? So they can see what's going on at the shelter. If there are
Right.
issues,
Go
they
see
can
it.
go see it right
Yeah.
away and they can feel better connected
Yeah.
to the shelter. So it takes a team of volunteers and a team of staff members
Yeah.
to make the whole thing work.
Yeah. So there's a lot of opportunities for folks that are maybe if you're retired or you have a youngster or a
Yeah.
teenager that needs something to do for the summer. Or for all of us folks out there who are watching this, I want you to make sure that you go and check out all the details about the Good Shepherd Humane Society. Fantastic work that's going on here.
Thank
A lot of excitement and a lot of needs still.
Yes.
There's always a growing need. An aging facility. You're needing extra care for these particular items that we talked about. So if you need more information, you can be sure and call Jay or any staff member to get more information
Sure.
here at Good Shepherd Humane Society. And you can go to their website. I'll show that at the end of this broadcast, and you can go and look at their website. I know that they have some also some social media presence and
Yeah,
Facebook
Facebook.
and such as that. So I'll show you the links on the end of this broadcast as well. And so, Jay, it's a great day to be here at Good Shepherd. Let me just say, if I was a dog or a cat, I'd like to be in your care if I was
Well,
abandoned
thank
or
you.
had a need. It's a great place to sort of get a good start on life or a new lease on life.
I
So
appreciate that.
we
Thank
thank
you.
you for all that you're doing
Thank
for
you.
the wonderful animals in our area.
You're welcome.
And don't forget, last but not least, if you're looking for a dog or a
Absolutely.
cat to adopt, this is the place to
It
go.
is the place. We have a great selection of animals. They're all different ages,
Yeah.
sizes, breeds.
Totally.
And our shelter manager really knows the animal, so
Yes.
she can direct you to the one that'll best suit your
Yeah.
needs.
That's what you're here for.
That's right.
Looking for a new home. That's what they're all about. So thanks for joining us at Eureka Springs Channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.